Lena's eyes fluttered open, her head pounding, the morning light spilling across silk sheets she didn't recognize. Panic surged. Where was she? How had she ended up here? The room screamed luxury, marble floors, velvet curtains, golden sconces, but it wasn't hers. And then she saw him, Alessandro. Dark, commanding, his gaze sharp and unreadable. He didn't speak at first, just watched her, like a predator assessing its prey. Her lips parted, a silent scream trapped in her throat. And then he said her name. Slow. Deliberate, claiming. Lena. Her pulse raced. How did he know her name? How did he seem to own her already? He stepped closer, the faint scent of his cologne intoxicating, his voice low and dangerous. Welcome to my world, and remember you're mine now. Lena froze, fear and desire colliding, knowing nothing would ever be the same. Lena's fingers trembled as she clutched the edge of the sheet, her pulse still unsteady from the shock of waking in the Mafia boss's bed. Alessandro had stepped away, giving her only a sliver of distance, just enough for her to breathe, but not enough to feel safe. His presence lingered in the room like heat from an open flame. He turned his back to her for the first time, speaking quietly as he poured himself a glass of water. You're thinking of running, he said, voice calm, too calm. He didn't have to look at her. He already knew. Lena swallowed hard. Her voice cracked. I need to go home. My best friend. My job. People will be looking for me. No one knows where you are, Alessandro said, and no one will find you unless I want them. To. Her breath hitched. The words weren't shouted. They were whispered, controlled, final. But something inside her refused to give up. While he set the glass down, Lena moved, fast. Her bare feet hit the cold marble. She grabbed the silk robe lying at the foot of the bed and wrapped it around herself as she rushed toward the door. She didn't know where she was going. She didn't care. Freedom, any direction, just away. From him. Her hand touched the doorknob. She pulled. It didn't move. Locked, she twisted harder, panic rising up her throat like a tightening fist. Then she felt it, heat behind her. Alessandro's presence. He hadn't touched her. He didn't have to. His voice brushed her ear like a shadow. Lena. Her heart slammed against her ribs. Do you really think, he murmured, that I would let you walk out of here without me? Slowly, his hand came to rest above hers on the doorknob, not gripping her, just covering the cold metal, trapping her hand beneath his. The warmth of his palm sent an unwilling shiver up her arm. Let me go, she whispered, her voice trembling more from the nearness of him than from fear. I can't. His breath warmed her neck. I won't. Her chest rose and fell with quick, uneven breaths. He turned her gently, so gently it almost felt tender. Almost. Her back brushed against the door. His body stood inches from hers, blocking every escape. His eyes searched her face, not with anger, but with something darker, more dangerous. You think I brought you here by accident? He said quietly. You think I spent months watching you there without a reason? Her lips parted, but no sound came. Alessandro lifted a strand of her hair between his fingers. I didn't lock you in to punish you, he said. I locked the door because losing you isn't an option. Lena's knees weakened. Fear, heat, confusion, desire, all tangled together. His thumb brushed her jawline, slow, deliberate, claiming. You belong here, Alessandro whispered. With me, her pulse thundered. He was too close, too intense, too impossible to resist. Act like you don't feel it, he murmured. Go on, lie to me. Lena closed her eyes, breath shaking, because she couldn't. The room had fallen into an almost unbearable silence. Lena's mind was a whirlwind of fear, confusion, and an unwelcome, forbidden heat that refused to fade. She could feel Alessandro's gaze on her, heavy and unyielding, like it was piercing straight through her chest, finding the part of her she didn't even want him to see. He moved with a predator's grace, deliberate and controlled. Every step he took across the marble floor made her heartbeat accelerate, each echoing footfall a drum of warning and desire. Lena wanted to step back, but her bare feet barely found purchase on the cold surface. She was trapped by more than just walls. She was trapped by him. You feel it too, don't you? Alessandro's voice was low, velvet-wrapped steel. That pull between us, Lena's throat went dry. She wanted to deny it, swear it wasn't true. But the truth scorched her, tongue before words could form. Her pulse thumped in rhythm with the unspoken admission she dared not say aloud. Don't fight it, he murmured, stepping closer. Close enough that she could feel the heat radiating from his body. His hand hovered near hers, almost brushing, testing boundaries, igniting a fire she didn't know she had. Her chest heaved. I shouldn't... You shouldn't what? His eyes darkened. Hunger mingled with something deeper, almost dangerous. Shouldn't feel desire, shouldn't crave me. His words wrapped around her like chains, binding her in a tension that was both thrilling and terrifying. Her fingers twitched against the silk of her robe, wishing to flee yet aching to stay. Alessandro closed the distance slowly, deliberately, his hand grazing the side of her face. Touch so light it could have been a whisper. You're mine, Lena, he said softly, dangerously. Whether you want it or not, and I will make you understand, whether your body or your mind believes it first. Her knees threatened to buckle. His presence was overpowering, magnetic, and impossible to escape. The intoxicating mix of fear and desire was pulling her in, a gravity she couldn't resist. Why me? Her voice was a breath, a question that wasn't safe yet needed to be asked. Because you're the only one who can withstand me, and because you're the only one I want, he whispered, brushing his lips so close to her ear that his warm breath sent shivers down her spine. Lena's mind screamed caution, but every nerve in her body betrayed her. The pull was relentless. She was standing on a precipice, caught between reason and instinct. And Alessandro, with a smirk curling his lips, knew exactly how far she could go before falling. Entirely. Then he leaned closer, so close that his lips hovered just above hers. A whisper. A promise. A threat. Just one taste, Lena, he murmured. One moment, and you'll know why you can't walk away. Her breath hitched. Every instinct screamed danger. Every part of her body screamed desire. And in that suspended moment, neither could move, yet both were drawn inexorably together. On the edge of surrender, Lena's body trembled, caught between fear and a heat she couldn't deny. The silk of her robe clung to her as if it too recognized the tension in the room. Alessandro stood before her, calm, controlled every inch the man who could command empires, and now it seemed her very heart. You can't fight me forever, he murmured, stepping closer. His eyes, dark and consuming, held her gaze with an intensity that made her chest tighten. Every instinct screamed at her to step back, but she didn't. She couldn't. Something deep inside demanded to stay, to see how far this dangerous pull would take her. I'm not yours, Lena whispered, trying to inject steel into her voice, though it wavered under his scrutiny. Alessandro tilted his head, a smirk tugging at the corner of his lips. Not yet, but you will be, he said softly, because I don't just take what I want, I claim it. He reached for her hand, brushing his fingers against hers. The simple touch sent a shock through her body, a forbidden thrill that made her knees weak. His presence was suffocating and intoxicating all at once, a paradox she had never experienced. Why are you doing this to me? She asked, voice barely audible, her gaze darting away for just a fraction of a second. Because I've been watching you, he said, his tone low, velvety, a whisper that seemed to echo in her very bones. I've been waiting for the moment when I could take you fully. And tonight, I couldn't wait any longer. Lena's heart thundered in her chest. His words were both terrifying and irresistible. She wanted to resist, wanted to run. But the way he looked at her, the way he moved with deliberate control, pulled her closer with invisible threads she couldn't break. Alessandro leaned in, his lips brushing hers lightly, testing, teasing. Lena's breath hitched, her body betraying her as heat surged through her veins. Her mind screamed danger, yet the pull of this forbidden connection was overwhelming. "You feel it too," he whispered, lips near her ear, sending shivers down her spine. "That fire, that desire, don't lie to me." She tried to pull away, but his hand found her waist, holding her with a strength that was commanding but not cruel. The proximity of him, the intoxicating scent of his cologne, the warmth of his body, all combined to disarm her completely. Alessandro's voice dropped even lower, a rumble that vibrated in her chest. "I don't just want you, Lena. I need you. And soon you'll understand that resisting me is impossible." Her pulse raced. Every nerve screamed both warning and longing. She wanted to fight him, to reclaim control. But the magnetic danger of Alessandro held her in place. Every breath, every inch of his body, every deliberate movement of his hand was a reminder. She was on his territory now, his world, his rules. And in that suspended moment, the tension between them was electric, intense, intimate, and dangerously close to consuming them both. Lena realized, with a shiver that wasn't entirely fear, that her life had changed forever. Alessandro didn't just dominate rooms or people, he dominated hearts. Her own included hers. Lena had never stepped foot in a world like this before. The city lights glimmered through the floor-to-ceiling windows of Alessandro's penthouse, but the glow was nothing compared to the way he seemed to illuminate the room himself. Every shadow, every gleam reflected the power he commanded, and the danger that clung to him like a second skin. He offered his hand, a gesture both polite and commanding, and she found herself taking it, without thinking. The warmth of his palm against hers sent shivers coursing through her body. She wanted to pull back, wanted to resist, but something primal, something she hadn't acknowledged, urged her forward. "You don't understand yet," Alessandro murmured, his thumb brushing her hand. "This is more than just power or control. It's a game, and once you step fully into it, there's no turning back." Her heartbeat quickened. I'm not sure I want to play," she admitted, her voice trembling, betraying both fear and something far more dangerous, curiosity. He tilted his head, dark eyes locking with hers. "Oh, Lena, you already are. Every look, every thought, every heartbeat of yours is part of it. You just don't realize it yet." She could feel it, the magnetic pull, the thrill that made her pulse race and her thoughts scatter. She had always believed she was in control of her life, her choices, her desires. But here, now with Alessandro standing so close, she felt the illusion shatter. He led her through the penthouse, his hand never leaving hers. Every step revealed glimpses of his life, opulent furniture, rare art, and glimpses of a world that was dangerous, thrilling, and intoxicating. Lena couldn't stop stealing glances at him, how he moved with confidence, with an effortless dominance that both terrified and captivated her. Alessandro stopped in front of a grand window. The city sprawled beneath them like a sea of lights. He turned to her, his hand sliding up to cup her jaw gently. "This world," he said softly, "is not safe, but it can be exciting, intoxicating, and I can show you everything if you trust me." Her pulse thundered. "And if I don't?" she whispered, breath shaky. A slow, almost predatory smile curved his lips. "Then you'll run, and I'll chase you. Because you can't resist me, Lena, not fully, not ever." Her stomach fluttered, a mix of fear, desire, and a dangerous anticipation. She wanted to pull away, wanted to resist, but Alessandro had already claimed her in ways that left her powerless. To do so, he leaned closer, his lips hovering near her ear, brushing the delicate skin with a whisper of heat. "Tonight," he murmured, "you'll see how thrilling surrender can be, and you'll either love it or learn how dangerous it is to resist me." Lena's breath hitched. The tension between them was suffocating, electric, intoxicating. Every nerve screamed, every thought twisted, and every instinct begged her to run. But she didn't. She couldn't. For the first time, she realized she was standing on the edge of something forbidden, something thrilling, something irreversible. And Alessandro? He was waiting, patient, confident, and dangerously irresistible, ready to pull her deeper into his dark, seductive world. The night had settled over the city, a velvet darkness sprinkled with distant lights. Lena stood near the grand window, her fingers tracing patterns on the cool glass. Her mind was a storm of emotions, fear, desire, and confusion, all tangled together, impossible to separate. Alessandro was behind her, silent, watching her with the intensity that had both captivated and terrified her from the moment they met. "You're thinking too much," he said softly, his voice low, smooth, like silk wrapped in steel. His hand came to rest lightly on her shoulder, grounding her in a way that made her pulse race. "I can't stop," Lena admitted, her voice trembling. "Everything about this, about you, it's overwhelming." Alessandro's lips curved into a faint, knowing smile. "Good. That means you're alive. That means you feel, and I like that about you." Lena shivered. Not from cold, but from the way his words seemed to reach inside her, brushing against something raw and unguarded. She wanted to resist him, to fight the pull he had over her, but part of her feared that fight was already lost. Before she could respond, a sudden chime from the penthouse security system broke the fragile calm. Alessandro stiffened instantly, his sharp instincts kicking in. Lena turned to see his face, hardened, the warmth replaced by a cold, calculating edge. "Trouble," he muttered. "Someone's here who shouldn't be." Lena's heart hammered. Who is it?" Alessandro didn't answer immediately. Instead, he moved toward a sleek control panel, tapping, a sequence of buttons with precision. The screen flickered to life, revealing a figure outside the building, someone watching, waiting. "They've been following me," he said quietly, jaw tight, eyes flashing with anger and danger. "And now, they're watching you, Lena. You weren't supposed to be involved." A chill ran down Lena's spine. "Involved? How?" Alessandro turned to her, his gaze intense, almost possessive. "Because you're mine," he said, the words sharp and final. "And anyone who wants to touch you, to use you, will answer to me. Do you understand?" Lena swallowed hard, fear and desire coiling together in her chest. She wanted to protest, to tell him she could handle herself. But the truth was terrifyingly clear. She was in his world now, and there was no going back. "Why are you telling me this?" she asked softly, her voice barely a whisper. "Because you need to know the stakes," he replied, stepping closer, his hand brushing hers. The contact was electric, a spark in the midst of danger. "And because I want you to understand. Trust is everything. You either trust me completely, or you lose everything." The tension between them was suffocating, a heady mix of threat and desire. Lena's breath hitched as she realized that danger wasn't just external. It existed in every glance, every touch, every word from Alessandro, and she was already drawn too far in to turn away. His fingers traced a line along her jaw, his eyes locking with hers. "No one will hurt you," he whispered. "Not while I'm here. But you. You have to let me in. Fully. Or this world will consume you." Lena's knees weakened. Her mind screamed caution, but her body betrayed her. Desire, fear, and trust collided, leaving her suspended in a moment she knew would change everything. And Alessandro? He was every bit as dangerous as the city below, yet the only person she wanted to surrender to. The city outside sparkled like a sea of fireflies, but inside Alessandro's penthouse the air was thick with tension and something far more dangerous. Desire. Lena sat on the edge of the massive bed, her robe loosely wrapped around her trembling body. Her thoughts were scattered, a chaotic storm of fear, longing, and disbelief at how deeply she was entangled with a man she barely knew, and yet felt she couldn't escape. Alessandro leaned against the doorway, watching her, his presence a gravitational pull she could neither resist nor ignore. The subtle shift in his stance, the slight narrowing of his eyes, hinted at the protective, possessive instincts lurking beneath his calm exterior. "You're thinking about him," he said softly, his voice cutting through the silence like velvet steel. Lena's stomach dropped. I don't know what you mean." "You do," he replied, stepping closer. His movement was deliberate, commanding, leaving no space for denial. "You're thinking about danger, about the men who are watching you, about anyone who might try to hurt you. And that's exactly what I want you to feel." Her heart raced. "Why? Why make me feel fear in this?" He stopped just inches from her, the scent of him intoxicating. "Because fear sharpens you, desire protects you. And because I need you to understand one thing. In this world, Lena, I don't share. Not with anyone. Not even for a second." Lena's breath caught, his intensity, the closeness, the way his eyes burned into hers. It was terrifying, exhilarating, and impossible to resist. Her pulse thundered in her ears, and she realized, with a shock, that she wanted him closer, wanted to feel his protection, wanted the danger. "You're so possessive," she whispered, a mix of awe and fear threading her voice. He smiled, dark and knowing, brushing a stray strand of hair from her face. "Possession is protection, and you need protection, Lena, whether you realize it or not." Her mind raced with conflicting emotions. She should resist him. She should push him away. And yet, the way he made her feel, alive, desired, untouchable even in the midst of danger, was intoxicating. Alessandro knelt before her, his hand finding hers again. "Do you trust me?" he asked. The simple question loaded with more weight than anything she had ever faced. Lena hesitated. Her instinct screamed caution, but her heart, her body, had already betrayed her. I think I do," she admitted, voice trembling. "That's all I need," he whispered, bringing her hand to his lips. His kiss was brief, soft, but it carried a promise and a warning. "You're mine, and nothing, no one, will take you from me. But you must let me protect you fully." Her knees weakened. The tension between them was suffocating, charged with desire and fear. Every nerve in her body screamed to resist, yet every fiber longed to surrender. Lena realized with a jolt that she was crossing a line she might never be able to return from. And Alessandro? He was waiting, patient, relentless, and infinitely dangerous, a storm she couldn't escape and secretly didn't want to. The night pressed close around them, the city's glow filtering through the tall windows, casting golden streaks across the penthouse. Lena's pulse was still racing from the earlier confrontation, from the truth of Alessandro's possessive protection. But now, the tension between them had shifted, charged, electric, dangerous. Alessandro stood before her, his dark eyes locking onto hers with an intensity that left her breathless. Every line of his body radiated control, confidence, and undeniable desire. He didn't need to speak. His presence was enough to make her tremble. "Do you trust me?" he asked, voice low, smooth, teasing. The question carried weight, promise, and danger all at once. Lena's throat went dry. Her body wanted to say yes, to throw herself into the warmth and danger of him, but her mind screamed caution. I think I do," she whispered, words laced with both fear and longing. "Good," he murmured, closing the distance between them slowly, deliberately. Each step was measured, predatory, designed to unnerve and entice. He reached out, cupping her face gently, yet with the quiet dominance that left no doubt who led. Their eyes locked, and in that suspended moment, the world outside ceased to exist. Only the electricity between them remained. Lena's breath hitched as he leaned closer, lips hovering, near hers, teasing, testing, daring her to surrender. "Do you feel it?" he whispered, brushing his lips along her jawline, trailing heat across her neck. That pull, that fire. Her body betrayed her, responding to every touch, every whispered word, despite her attempt to resist. Desire surged through her like wildfire, dangerous and intoxicating. Yes, she admitted, barely audible. Alessandro's hand slid from her face to her waist, pulling her closer, eliminating every inch of space between them. Then let it guide you, he murmured, voice roughened with longing. Let it teach you that surrender isn't weakness. It's freedom. Her pulse raced, mind spinning, heart hammering in her chest. Fear and desire collided, twisting together so tightly she could hardly think. And then, with a deliberate, commanding motion, Alessandro pressed his lips to hers. The kiss was slow, consuming, and infinitely intimate. It was a test, a claim, a promise, all wrapped in a single scorching touch. Lena gasped, her hands moving to his chest instinctively, feeling the firm strength beneath his tailored suit. She wanted to pull back, to resist, but the fire between them was impossible to ignore. Alessandro deepened the kiss, a gentle dominance that left no doubt. He claimed her, even as he allowed her to discover the thrill of giving in. Every nerve screamed, every instinct warring with desire. But the tension, the passion, the forbidden danger held her in a trance. When they finally broke apart, breathless, Alessandro rested his forehead against hers. You feel it too, he whispered, voice husky. Yes, Lena admitted, trembling. I can't resist it. His dark eyes softened just slightly, a dangerous tenderness there. Good, he murmured. Because this is only the beginning. The night had grown quieter, the city lights flickering like distant stars, but inside the penthouse, tension lingered thickly in the air. Lena sat on the edge of the bed, the warmth of Alessandro's earlier touch still burning across her skin. Her thoughts were a tangled storm of fear, desire, and an unspoken longing she couldn't name. Alessandro leaned against the doorway, arms crossed, watching her with an intensity that made her heart race. He had been quiet for a long moment, and the silence was almost unbearable. Lena's pulse quickened. Something in his gaze told her he had decided it was time. Time to reveal more, to let the walls come down, just slightly. You're frightened, he said softly, stepping closer. His voice was low, smooth, carrying a weight that made her shiver. And you should be. You've stepped into my world, a world of power, danger, and rules that don't bend for anyone. Lena swallowed hard. I don't know if I can... Her voice trailed off. Fear and desire waged war inside her. Alessandro closed the distance, resting a hand gently on her shoulder. I know, he murmured, almost tenderly. But that's why you need to hear this. He took a deep breath, eyes darkening with emotion she hadn't seen before. There's a part of me, a past, that no one knows. I've built walls, Lena, because the world I live in is dangerous. I protect the ones I care about by keeping them at a distance, by keeping them safe, even if it means keeping them out of my life. Lena's eyes widened. You're not just a mafia boss? He shook his head, a faint, almost sad smile on his lips. I am what I need to be to survive. But I'm also capable of love, and I've never wanted anyone like I want you. Her chest tightened. Desire, fear, and something softer. Something that felt dangerously like hope, twisted inside her. I don't know if I can trust you, she admitted, voice trembling. Alessandro knelt before her, eyes locking with hers, the raw intensity in his gaze disarming, every defense she had. You will trust me, he said softly, yet with a force that brooked no argument. Not because I demand it, but because you'll realize that I've never let anyone I care about fall, not ever. and I won't let that happen to you." Lena's lips parted, and a shiver ran down her spine. His words were both a comfort and a warning. Her heart screamed to believe him, yet every instinct reminded her of the danger, the power, the dark allure that surrounded him. Suddenly, the sound of movement from outside the penthouse shattered the fragile calm. Alessandro stiffened instantly, a predator's focus returning. "They're here," he muttered, his hand brushing the small of her back, guiding her behind him. "No one touches you. Not now. Not ever." Fear and exhilaration collided in Lena's chest. She realized, with a jolt, that she was fully entwined in his dangerous world. Not just with desire, but with trust, however fragile it was. And Alessandro. He wasn't just a threat or a fantasy. He was her protector, her tormentor, and the man who had claimed her heart before she even realized it. He leaned close, his lips near her ear, whispering, "Stay close, Lena. I won't let anything hurt you, but you must stay with me, always." Her breath hitched. The tension, the danger, and the longing all became one, a knot she couldn't untangle. She nodded slightly, knowing she was crossing a line she couldn't turn back from. The penthouse door clicked open. A shadow slipped across the hallway, silent, purposeful. Lena's stomach clenched. She had thought the danger was distant, something Alessandro could control, something she only glimpsed through the intensity in his eyes. But now, it had arrived. Alessandro's body tensed immediately, a coiled spring of lethal precision. He didn't even glance at her before moving, blocking her from view. His presence alone was a barrier, a warning. Do not approach. "They're close," he muttered, low, voice rough with controlled anger. "You shouldn't be here. When this happens." Lena's heart pounded, but she didn't move. She couldn't. The fear, the adrenaline, and the undeniable pull toward him left her frozen. I want to stay," she whispered, her voice barely audible. He turned, eyes locking with hers, dark, commanding, protective. "Stay behind me," he ordered, softly, "and trust me, not just with this, with everything." The intruder stepped into view, a man in a black hoodie, unaware of the predator waiting inside. Alessandro's movement was sudden, precise, and terrifying. Within seconds, the man was disarmed, pinned effortlessly against the wall. The danger was gone, but the tension lingered. Alessandro turned to Lena, his eyes softer now, though still dangerous. "Do you see?" he murmured, brushing a stray strand of hair from her face. "This world isn't safe, but I am, as long as you stay with me." Her chest heaved. Fear still clung to her, but beneath it, something else stirred. Awe, admiration, and an unspoken thrill at his strength. I trust you," she admitted, voice shaking. He smiled, dark and knowing. "Good," he said, lowering himself to her level. His hand rested on her cheek, firm yet gentle. "Because trust and surrender are the only ways to survive and to feel alive." Her pulse raced as his fingers lingered, tracing her jawline, his eyes searching hers. The danger had passed, but the electricity between them remained, stronger than ever. Fear and desire mingled, inseparable, leaving her breathless. Alessandro leaned closer, his lips brushing hers. Not a kiss, but a promise, a warning, a claim. "This is only the beginning, Lena," he whispered. "The world outside wants to hurt you, and I will fight to protect you. But you must stay with me, fully, or the next time, it won't just be fear that you feel." Her knees weakened, the adrenaline still coursing through her veins combined with the heat of his nearness, leaving her trembling. She wanted to pull back, to resist, but she couldn't. Not from him. Not when every instinct told her to surrender. Lena realized then that Alessandro wasn't just a man. He was a force, dangerous, consuming, irresistible. And she was irrevocably drawn to him, every part of her. His eyes softened for the briefest moment, dark edges giving way to something intimate, almost tender. "You belong with me," he whispered, "and no one, not ever, will take you from me." Her breath hitched. Fear, danger, desire. They all collided inside her, leaving her suspended in a moment she would never forget. The penthouse was silent once more, but the atmosphere was charged, heavier than before. Lena sat on the edge of the bed, her mind still racing from the earlier encounter with the intruder. Fear and adrenaline mingled with something far more dangerous. The undeniable pull. She felt toward Alessandro. He leaned against the doorway, eyes dark, unwavering. His presence alone made the air around her feel hotter, tighter. "You're thinking about what happened," he said softly, stepping closer. "About the danger, about me, about us." Lena swallowed hard, her pulse hammering. I can't stop," she admitted, voice trembling. "Every time I try to think clearly, I keep thinking about you." A slow, predatory smile curved his lips. "Good. That means you're alive. That means you feel. And that means you're ready to see just how much this world, and I, can consume you." He knelt in front of her, the heat radiating from his body impossible to ignore. His fingers brushed a stray strand of hair from her face, lingering along her jaw. "I don't just want to protect you, Lena," he whispered. "I want to consume you. Every thought, every heartbeat, every secret you hide from the world." Lena's breath hitched, heart racing. Desire, fear, and something dangerously close to surrender tangled together inside her. I don't know if I should," she murmured, her voice barely audible. "Then let me show you," he said, voice low, velvety, irresistible. His hand slid from her face to her waist, pulling her slightly closer. The proximity was electrifying, suffocating, intoxicating. "There's no shame in surrender, Lena, only freedom and pleasure." Her mind screamed caution, but her body betrayed her. Every nerve flared, every instinct twisted with longing. She wanted to pull away, but she couldn't. Not when he looked at her like this, like she was the only thing in the world that mattered. Alessandro's lips hovered just above hers, teasing, testing. "You feel it too," he murmured. "The fire between us. The pull you can't ignore. Don't fight it. Don't lie to yourself." Her hands trembled as she reached out, resting them on his chest. I can't resist it," she whispered, voice shaky but certain. A slow, dark chuckle escaped him. "Good," he murmured, capturing her lips in a kiss that was both gentle and consuming. Every movement, every touch, every breath was deliberate, teasing, claiming, testing boundaries. Lena's mind went blank, lost in the storm of sensation, fear, and desire. When they finally broke apart, breathless, Alessandro rested his forehead against hers, eyes softening for the briefest moment. "You see?" he whispered. "Surrender isn't weakness. It's power, and you're stronger than you know." Lena's chest heaved, desire and fear still intertwined. She realized with a shiver that she had stepped fully into his world, not just physically, but emotionally. Alessandro had claimed more than her body. He had claimed her trust, her longing, her very heart. And for the first time, she didn't want to fight it. The calm after the storm had barely settled when a new threat emerged, more calculated, more personal than anything Lena had imagined. Alessandro's penthouse, once a sanctuary, now felt like the center of a storm. Lena's heart raced as footsteps echoed faintly outside the door. A subtle, deliberate rhythm that set her nerves on edge. Alessandro moved first. Silent. Predatory. His hand found hers. gripping gently but firmly, a lifeline in the chaos. "Stay close," he whispered, voice low and commanding. "Don't move." Lena's mind spun. Who is it?" He didn't answer immediately, his eyes scanning every shadow. Finally he spoke, voice clipped and tense. "Someone from my past. Someone who thinks they can hurt me, or you, without consequences." Fear coiled in her chest, but it was mingled with something more intoxicating. The realization that Alessandro would stop at nothing to protect her. Every step he took, every measured move, radiated danger, confidence, and control. "You don't understand," she whispered, trembling. "I'm not used to this, to danger, to—" Her voice faltered. "To you." Alessandro's eyes softened for a fraction of a second, then hardened again, dark and unyielding. "You'll learn, Lena," he said, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "You'll learn what it means to survive and to desire, to trust and to surrender." The shadow outside the door shifted. Alessandro moved with lightning speed, intercepting the threat before it could reach them. The encounter was swift, silent, precise, a lethal dance that left Lena both terrified and mesmerized. When the intruder fled, Alessandro's gaze returned to her, intense and unrelenting. "You see?" he murmured, brushing her cheek lightly. "I told you. Danger isn't just outside, it's here. And if you stay with me, you'll see just how close it can get." Her chest heaved. Fear, adrenaline, and desire collided, leaving her breathless. I trust you," she whispered, voice shaky but certain. He smiled, dark and knowing, stepping closer, heat radiating from every inch of him. "Good," he murmured, "because trust isn't enough. You'll need more than trust to survive. And to love me." Before she could react, he pulled her into his arms, lips capturing hers in a kiss that was slow, consuming, and infinitely intimate. Every touch was deliberate, every movement a reminder that she was his, body, heart, and mind. Lena's hands trembled as she pressed against him, caught between fear and desire. Every instinct screamed to resist, yet every nerve longed to surrender. Alessandro's lips moved, against hers with an intoxicating power, claiming, teasing, and testing boundaries she had never imagined crossing. When they finally parted, their foreheads pressed together, he whispered, "You're mine, Lena, completely. And nothing will take you from me. But you must be ready for the world that comes with me." Her breath hitched. The danger, the thrill, the passion, it was overwhelming. And she realized, with a shiver, that she had crossed a line she could never return from. The city outside twinkled, indifferent to the chaos inside Alessandro's world. Lena sat on the edge of the bed, her fingers twisting the silk of her robe, heart pounding in a rhythm that matched the storm brewing within her. She felt exposed, vulnerable, but also inexplicably drawn to the danger that Alessandro embodied. He approached quietly, each step measured, a predator's grace. "You feel it too," he murmured, voice low and smooth, brushing a stray lock of hair from her cheek. "The pull, the fire. You can't deny it." Lena shivered, eyes darting away. I don't know what to feel anymore," she whispered, her mind a chaos of fear, desire, and confusion. "Everything is too much." Alessandro's dark eyes softened just slightly, though the dangerous intensity never left them. "That's because you're alive, Lena, because you're human, and because desire, temptation, can't be controlled when it hits like this." Her chest tightened. "And what about trust?" she asked, voice trembling. "After everything, can I even trust myself? Or you?" He knelt before her, hands lightly resting on her knees, sending a shiver up her spine. "Trust is earned," he whispered, voice husky with promise. And desire is unavoidable. You've already crossed that line. There's no turning back. Her breath hitched. She felt every nerve ignite, every instinct warning her to resist. Yet, something darker, something thrilling, urged her to lean closer, to surrender to the storm. Between them, Alessandro's fingers traced the line of her jaw, a feather-light touch that sent heat coursing through her veins. "You're mine, Lena," he murmured, lips brushing near her ear. "And the world will try to tempt you, to test you. But I will always be here, watching, claiming, protecting." The word protecting made her heart tighten. She wanted to protest, to deny the pull she felt, but the intensity of his gaze and the proximity of his body left her powerless. "Alessandro," she breathed, voice barely audible. I'm afraid of losing control." He smiled, slow and dark, leaning closer, capturing her lips in a kiss that was both tender and consuming. Every movement spoke of possession, promise, and the dangerous thrill of temptation. Lena melted into him, fear and desire tangled together, leaving her breathless and unguarded. When they finally parted, he rested his forehead against hers, eyes locking onto hers with a ferocity that made her shiver. "This world, my world, it's dangerous, Lena. But giving in to desire, to trust, to me, is worth every risk." Her chest heaved, every nerve alive, mind spinning with the impossible combination of fear and longing. She realized, with a jolt, that the temptation wasn't just from him. It was from the life she'd chosen, willingly, dangerously. And Alessandro? He was waiting, patient, unyielding. A storm she could neither resist nor escape. The city lights were distant, almost insignificant compared to the storm brewing inside. Alessandro's penthouse. Lena stood near the window, her hands pressed against the cool glass, heart hammering in a rhythm that echoed the fear clawing at her chest. The earlier threats had escalated, and now the danger felt closer, unavoidable. Alessandro appeared beside her silently, his presence magnetic, overwhelming. His hand found hers, gripping firmly. "It's coming," he murmured, dark eyes scanning the shadows beyond the glass. "And this time, there's no turning back." Lena swallowed hard, fear and adrenaline tangling in her veins. I don't know if I can do this," she whispered, voice trembling. "It's too much, too fast." He turned to her, gaze intense, unwavering. "You can," he said, his voice low, velvety, impossible to resist. "Because you're stronger than you know, and because I'm not letting you face this alone." A sudden commotion outside shattered the fragile calm. Footsteps, harsh and urgent, echoed through the hallway. Lena's breath caught, and her body froze. Alessandro reacted instantly, a blur of lethal precision and calm control. He moved to shield her, every movement radiating dominance, danger, and an unspoken promise. "You are mine. No one touches you." Lena's chest heaved, caught between fear and an inexplicable thrill. She realized with a jolt that part of her craved this. His protection, the intensity, the knowledge that he would stop at nothing for her. "You're mine, Lena," he whispered, voice husky, lips brushing her temple. "And anyone who tries to hurt you will regret it." Her pulse raced, body trembling, mind spinning. Fear mingled with desire with trust, until it became impossible to separate one from the other. She wanted to resist, to pull away, but every instinct screamed to surrender, to feel the heat, the intensity, the protection that Alessandro embodied. He turned her gently, pulling her close, his forehead resting against hers. "Do you trust me?" he asked, dark eyes searching hers. "Yes," she whispered, though her voice trembled. "Completely." A faint, dark smile curved his lips. Good, he murmured. Because trust is everything now. And desire is only beginning. Then, almost in slow motion, he claimed her lips again. The kiss was deep, consuming, a collision of passion, fear, and surrender. Lena felt herself giving in completely, mind, body, and heart, unable to resist the storm of Alessandro's presence. Every nerve, every thought, every heartbeat was consumed by him. When they broke apart, breathless, Alessandro's hand lingered on her cheek, thumb brushing softly along her jaw. "This world is dangerous," he whispered, voice husky. "But I will fight for you, for us, and if you stay with me, Lena, there's nothing we can't face together." Her chest heaved, and she realized, with a shiver, that she had crossed a line from which there was no return. Danger, desire, and dark romance had fused into a single, undeniable truth. She belonged to him as much as he belonged to her. The night had fallen heavy, the city outside a distant blur of lights. Inside Alessandro's penthouse, tension hung like a living thing, thick and suffocating. Lena's pulse pounded in her ears as footsteps echoed sharply through the hallways, a reminder that danger was not just near, it was here. Alessandro stood between her and the door, his body coiled like a panther ready to strike. Every line of him radiated power, control, and an irresistible dominance. "Stay behind me," he murmured, voice low, deadly, and intimate all at once. Lena's chest heaved. Fear gripped her, but so did desire, a dangerous mixture that left her trembling. I don't want to hide," she whispered, her voice small but defiant. "You won't hide," Alessandro replied, stepping closer, fingers brushing her arm in a fleeting, teasing touch. "You'll stand with me, and you'll feel why surrendering isn't weakness, why desire it was survival." The intruder stepped into the room, shadowed and silent. Alessandro moved with lethal precision, intercepting the threat before it could even react. The struggle was swift, brutal, yet controlled, each motion a testament to his power. Lena's eyes widened, a mixture of fear, awe, and something darker stirring inside her. When the danger passed, Alessandro turned to her, every inch of him radiating intensity. "See?" he whispered, voice low and velvety. Nothing will touch you as long as I'm here. But you must trust me fully, not just in danger, but in desire, in surrender, in us." Lena's breath hitched, her body trembling with the collision of adrenaline and longing. I trust you," she admitted, voice shaking but certain. "Completely." A slow, predatory smile curved his lips. "Good," he murmured, bridging the space between them. His hand cupped her face, thumb brushing along her jaw. "Because the fire between us, it's only beginning, and tonight, you'll feel just how intense it can be." He leaned in, capturing her lips in a kiss that was at once tender and consuming. Lena melted against him, every nerve ignited, every instinct caught in a whirlwind of fear, desire, and surrender. Her hand slid to his chest, feeling the strength beneath, the undeniable control he wielded with every touch. When they finally broke apart, breaths mingling, Alessandro's lips hovered near her ear. "You're mine," he whispered, voice husky with longing. "And no one will ever take you from me." Lena's chest heaved, heart racing, body alight with both fear and exhilaration. She realized with a jolt that she had crossed every line she ever thought she could control. Danger, desire, and dark romance had fused into a single, overwhelming truth. She belonged to him, and he to her. As their eyes locked, the world outside ceased to exist. There was only them, only the fire, only the storm of passion and danger that had drawn them together, and would never let them go. The dawn was just beginning to break. soft light spilling through the tall windows of Alessandro's penthouse. The city outside was waking, oblivious to the storm, the danger, the passion that had filled the night. But inside, Lena and Alessandro were suspended in their own world, one forged from desire, trust, and a dark, irresistible love. Lena leaned against him, her fingers tracing the line of his jaw, memorizing every detail as if to anchor herself in this reality. I never imagined, she whispered, voice trembling with awe and longing, that I could feel this safe and alive, all at once. Alessandro's lips curved into a slow, knowing smile. "You're mine," he murmured, voice low, intimate and possessive all at once. "And I'll protect you. Every heartbeat, every breath. Always. But more than that, Lena, you've claimed me just as much as I've claimed you." Her pulse raced. She realized fully that the surrender she had feared, the trust, the desire, the danger, had become the very thing that made her feel alive. Fear and passion, darkness and intimacy, had fused into a bond neither could break. Alessandro brushed a soft kiss along her temple, his hands tracing the curve of her waist, anchoring her against him. "The world outside is still dangerous," he whispered. "But here, with me, you can let go. Let yourself feel, let yourself be mine, fully." Lena shivered, a thrill running through her as she pressed closer, feeling the heat, the strength, the intoxicating danger of him. I'm yours," she admitted, voice soft but unwavering. Completely. He captured her lips in a slow, lingering kiss, a seal on a promise that had been forged through fear, trust, and desire. Every touch was deliberate, consuming and intoxicating, leaving no doubt that this dark, forbidden connection was theirs, irreversible, undeniable, eternal. When they finally broke apart, Alessandro rested his forehead against hers, eyes dark and tender all at once. "Forever, Lena," he whispered. Nothing will ever take you from me, and I will never let you go." Her breath caught, heart hammering, body and soul trembling with the realization of everything they had survived, endured, and discovered together. Fear had transformed into trust, danger into exhilaration, and desire into a love that was as dark, intense, and intoxicating as Alessandro himself. "I believe you," she murmured, voice trembling. "And I want this, all of it, with you." Alessandro's hands cupped her face, thumb brushing softly along her cheek. "Then it's ours," he said, voice low, full of promise and command. "This world, this fire, this love, ours, always." As the first light of morning touched the city, Lena and Alessandro stood together, a storm and calm intertwined, danger and passion fused, hearts surrendered and bound. They had crossed every line, faced every threat, and come through it together, stronger, bound by fire, and unbreakable. And in that moment, with danger lingering beyond the windows but powerless within these walls, they both knew one undeniable truth. They belonged to each other, completely, eternally. And nothing would ever change that. If you felt Lena's fear, if you tasted Alessandro's danger, if the fire between them pulled you in and refused to let go, then don't leave now. Their world is only just beginning. Subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter of desire, darkness, and forbidden love. Click the button, join the story, and step deeper into the world where passion is dangerous and love is worth every risk. Subscribe now. Your next heartbeat of the story is waiting.